afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today's conversation on veteran suicide prevention. My name is Cherie Tham. I'm the co-founder and vice president of programs and initiatives at America's Warrior Partnership. We are currently overseeing Operation Deep Dive, a community-based veteran suicide and non-natural cause of death prevention study taking place across 13 states, to include Georgia. It is led by our team at America's Warrior Partnership and researchers from the University of Alabama, with the generous support from the Bristol-Myers Squibb Foundation. Today, our goal is to share with you the best practices and resources available to support prevention efforts around suicide and non-natural cause of death for those who have served in the military and live in Georgia. I'm pleased to have Ryan Ruzak, manager of Team Red, White, and Blue's national headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, join me today for this conversation. Ryan, please tell our viewers a little bit about yourself.
Hey, Cherie. So let me start by saying it's an honor to be representing Team Red, White, and Blue here today. My title is the Firebase Manager, which is our national headquarters. The Firebase is essentially, a resource center for veterans. We've got everything from a CrossFit gym, lounge space, yoga studio, workspace for people who, just want to change it up and maybe don't want to work from home. With COVID, a lot of people were taking advantage of that. It's totally free and open to veterans and veteran supporters. So a little bit more about myself. I'm married. My wife's name is Zoe. We have a daughter named Lily, and we've got another one on the way. So here in the next couple of months, we're going to have 2 under 2. So exciting, but scary.
I bet. Well, I can't tell you how excited we are to have you on today and for you to share the great work you're doing, specifically in Georgia or the metropolitan Atlanta area, and how we can work together as communities to develop an upstream approach to suicide and premature death among veterans. As we discuss Operation Deep Dive and local suicide prevention resources, I encourage our viewers to type out any questions in the comment section. We will answer them in the comment section as they come in. Before we begin, Ryan, can you share with our viewers what the veteran population looks like across Georgia, or specifically in your community?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's about 780,000 roughly veterans here in Georgia, and of that, about 780,000, and of that, about 200,000 are in the metro Atlanta area. Team Red, White, and Blue here, we have about 7,000 members in Georgia, and of that, about 5,000 are either veterans, guard, reserve, or active duty. Nationwide, there's about 24% of veterans are in rural areas, and through our app, you can always get connected, even though, it's a little bit more difficult to get connected when you're in a rural area, but through our app, there's always ways to get involved. Team Red, White, and Blue has chapters in Atlanta, Savannah, Columbus, Athens, Augusta, and Warner Robins. There are many posts here, military posts here in Georgia. And with Atlanta, Savannah, and Columbus, we can reach Dobbins Air Force Base, Fort Gillem, Fort Stewart, Hunter Army Airfield, and Fort Benning. So.
Great. And so you talked a little bit about Team Red, White, and Blue. What is the mission of Team Red, White, and Blue?
Yeah, so the mission of Team Red, White, and Blue is to enrich the lives of America's veterans by connecting them to their community through physical and social activity. So, what does that look like? Everything from going on a group run to doing some community service, meet and greets, maybe a trivia night here and there. Here in Atlanta specifically, we have a softball team and a kickball team that'll be starting up next week. Our softball team is 2 seasons in now, and we've gotten pretty good. Another awesome thing that we do here at Red, White, and Blue is, we work together with other VSOs to accomplish our goals, which is so important in my opinion. While we don't always do the exact same thing, we always share a common goal, and that is to help veterans. Team Red, White, and Blue was created because of the hardships that many veterans face, coming out of the military, losing that camaraderie and that fellowship that they have. So Mike Irwin, our creator, wanted to fix that.
Yeah. No, from what you're talking about, I can visualize the collaboration that you're doing statewide, and how that can improve the quality of life for the veterans in their communities, right? Because you guys are you're building peer support, relationships, activities, that you can share and experience together. That's great. Thank you, Ryan.
Absolutely.
As our viewers know, every veteran community is unique and distinct, depending on the area of the country where they're located. Because of this, the challenges impacting veterans in one state may be vastly different from another state. And if I dig a little bit even deeper into that, rural versus metropolitan versus urban, a lot of different challenges within different regions of our states as well. Our goal with Operation Deep Dive is to understand these challenges and, more importantly, address how community leaders can resolve them. With that goal in mind, can you tell us more about Operation Deep Dive in Georgia?
Yeah, absolutely. So Operation Deep Dive consists of two components. The first one focuses on gathering state death data from 2014 to 2018. From there, the DoD will verify which of them were service members who had passed away. Now, the second component involves conducting interviews with relatives, spouses, friends, or colleagues of the veteran who died by suicide or non-natural causes of death. These interviews focus on the last 6 to 12 months of that veteran's life to see kind of where they were at mentally and what they were doing. Collectively, data from both components will be analyzed and shared with the community partners across the county to target their messaging and services to more vulnerable veterans. So to help those veterans who are, more prone to dealing with, depression, suicide, things like that. These findings will help Operation Deep Dive create more effective and impactful support programs for veterans.
Yeah, and it's not just depression. Also, it's having the opportunity to, like, programs like Team Red, White, and Blue offer individuals. It's just, an outlet to be able to go and be a part of. And right.
They can tell whether or not they were connected to their community or where they were, whether it's Team Red, White, and Blue, Wounded Warrior Project, Travis Manion Foundation. There's tons of different organizations they could be involved with.
Exactly. What can you tell the citizens of Georgia how they can get involved with Operation Deep Dive and become a part of our larger team that is focusing on ending veteran suicide and the other non-natural causes of death?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, if you have lost a veteran, a former service member to suicide, accidental overdose, drowning, asphyxiation, single driver car accident, or suicide by law enforcement within the last 24 months, I highly encourage you to consider participating in an interview with the research team. They want to understand their stories and how they were engaged with the community prior to death. Your insights will give local organizations guidance on how to better direct their efforts and help veterans out. If you're not eligible for an interview, though, you can still absolutely help. Please share this on your social media. If you know someone who has, lost a loved one like this, inform them about Operation Deep Dive. Also, former service members should understand there is a wide range of programs and services available to help them overcome a challenge. If you're facing an urgent crisis, you can always call the Veteran Crisis Hotline by dialing 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255 and pressing 1. You can also send a text message to 838-255. That's 838-255. And for more information on how Team Red, White, and Blue can support veterans in your community, please reach out to me at ryan.ruzek@teamrwb.org. That's Ryan, R-Y-A-N, Ruzek, R-U-Z-E-K, at teamrwb.org. Or you can visit the website, just teamrwb.org.
Thank you, Ryan. And for our viewers who may be wondering what they can do today to get involved in veteran suicide prevention, is there a way they can leverage local and national organizations' resources?
Yeah, absolutely. So they can always like I said, reach out to me and I'll be able to connect them to other organizations that will be able to help them. And that's one thing I kind of pride myself on, is if you reach out to me, I know that whether I can help you or not, I can direct you into the right space for it.
Yeah, perfect. Also, you mentioned early, and I'm not familiar with this, so I know maybe it might be something interesting. You talked about an app. RWB has an app. Can you tell us a little bit about what that app is used for and how you guys implement that to support you?
So we actually just kind of revamped our app. We've got groups on there now. So basically what it is you can just go into the App Store, whether, iPhone, Android, or whatever you've got, you can type in Team RWB and it'll pop up. It'll be the first one you see. And what it is you download it. And if you're a veteran, you'll actually get a free shirt for becoming a member. So there's a plus. But it's a good way to connect to your community. Like our whole goal is, there's, whether you're into rucking, running, social activity, whatever it is, there's different communities that you can click onto. You can become a member of that group and you can meet people that way.
I think that's great. Absolutely. I think every individual, every partner, every organization that we all work together to support our veteran communities is fantastic. I think it's also important. We may have some viewers that may not have a large following on their social media or population, but you're still contributing a great deal to the efforts to support the quality of life for veterans in our community. And there's a likelihood that there's a former service member, family member, or caregiver in your network that would benefit from the information that Ryan has talked about with Team RWB and how to be involved with Operation Deep Dive. Ryan, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think I need to add anything, but I just want to really harp on, if you have lost somebody, it's really difficult to have those discussions, right? That's understandable. But, the good that it can do for other veterans in the area, or other veterans maybe that, that you'll never even meet, it can be insurmountable and it can be so helpful.
Couldn't agree with you more. Just for some clarification purposes, we use the term warrior, former service member, and veteran interchangeably in the context of this study. If you're a friend or loved one who was sworn into service for one day, that individual would have qualified as a former service member for the purposes of our study. It does not matter what branch they served in or whether they completed a combat deployment. The goal of these interviews is to understand how a deceased veteran was engaged within their community and how the community can better support veterans in the future. How can you participate? You must be 18 years or older. You must have a relative, loved one, friend, or coworker who was a veteran and died by suicide or a non-natural cause of death within the last 24 months. The deceased former service member could have served as little as one day and received any type of discharge. Additionally, the community you and the veteran live must be in Georgia or one of the other 13 states participating in Operation Deep Dive. Those states are Alabama, Arizona, California, Florida, New York, Indiana, Minnesota, Nevada, North Carolina, South Carolina, Ohio, and Texas. If you are eligible and would like to participate or know someone who may want to participate, please visit americaswarriorpartnership.org/deep dive to contact our research team. I wanted to add on to something that Ryan spoke in his final comments about. This is a difficult conversation to have, but it is a way to be involved, to share about the last year of your loved one's life and how we can look at that to prevent someone else taking their life. In addition to that is helping our mental health community in a way that throughout the years, the mental health community has shouldered the responsibility for those who have taken their lives, or depression and anxiety related symptoms. And we feel that in prevention, it's going to take all of us to help the mental health community to be able to wrap our arms around our veterans community and support them moving forward. That is all the time we have for today. If your questions were not answered in the chat, then we will continue to answer the questions as long as you want to put them in there. And or if you have additional questions, if you wanted to speak directly to Ryan or myself for Operation Deep Dive, you can contact our research team at americaswarriorpartnership.org/deep dive. And Ryan, you can contact Ryan by ryan.ruzak, right?
That's RUZEK@teamrwb.org.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you all for joining our discussion today. Stay tuned to America's Warrior Partnership Facebook for information on future Operation Deep Dive discussions. And thank you, Ryan, for what you do. And I think it's great.
Thank you, Sheree. I appreciate you having me on.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone.